Hi, Shelley.
Hey, Dr. Black. I was all ready yesterday. I thought yesterday was Sunday. That was why I called you. I was like, and then I looked on the date on the phone and it said Saturday. I was like, oh man, I'm doing too much.
Yeah, right. I understand.
Yeah, I'm doing too much. I said, I had set my timer today so I could be on time.
Yeah, I usually get the days mixed up. I mean, going. In fact, Jill been got them mixed up this week for me. She been asking every day, what day is it? Usually she know because it's the day she work.
Did you get a chance to talk to Gary?
You know, I talked to Gary. Did I tell you I talked to him? No, I guess I talked to him, but
you sent me that will. I read that.
Oh yeah, I talked to him after that. I told you that what went on in his household. That's what we talked about mostly. But I talked to him, and he told me that Michelle had a baby for some guy that she's been dating. The first guy she was dating was from Mexico, I think, or South America, and they broke up. And then the second guy was from Arkansas, and he's a real hillbilly, and she had a baby for him, and that all three of them are living up there with Gary.
You mean all four, right?
Well, Gary said two, so I guess all four of them. But I know that he's charging them rent. I'm probably not 99% sure of that. But
yeah.
Yeah. But he told me that he didn't have any further information about any other wills other than that one. He said, but if they didn't notarize their will, this one will supersede whatever action that they took.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. Well, I don't know. Because I'm thinking, when you do those things, they say that the people you're leaving the stuff to are not the people that signed, right?
The person the person that's having the will done, they will sign, but the people that's going to receive it is not the witness.
Right.
They're not the witness. The witness would be a couple of independent people.
Right. Which I'm sure he would have known. What is it? Joe Bell being, they would have been able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that I don't know what they did because they said they hired a lawyer. I think Jan told me that they hired a lawyer or something. So I no telling what happened. That they did, but not Eileen. Gary.
Right.
How you doing, Gary?
Hey, Gary.
Hi, Gary.
Hey.
So I was gonna talk to him after I talked to Linda Cole and see if she had any date. But Barry Ward would know exactly. So I forgot I had Barry Ward's phone number in my contact list. But again, I called Gary and asked him for the number. He gave it to me. So, but it's the same. Like when I put it into my phone said you already have it. You want to duplicate it, or you want to? So anyway, that's how that went.
Yeah,
so, but anyway,
Richard probably should have. Well, he probably should know where all his dad's stuff is.
You think so?
Richard Bell. The son.
Oh, yeah. He's hospitalized, right? Huh?
No, he's home. I mean, Joe Bell is home. But I'm saying his son, who cares for him and his mom.
Oh, okay. Is mom sick too?
Huh?
The mom sick too?
Well, I told you she had just recently had a bad car accident.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah, and Janet. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call her. I didn't call her to find out how she was doing or whatever.
She ought to know. She was there. Janet should know what was said in class when Rich come read that will.
Oh yeah, Janet. Yeah, she should remember that. But I mean, Janice ain't. She ain't. She ain't like.
She's not in the in crowd.
She one of them people that don't remember a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
she remembers some things, but she don't remember
Everything.
But shoot, I'm sure. Well, look, we ain't talking to Molly and Phil, but I know they would know.
Yeah, they would know.
Actually, it's funny because I sent a text message to Melissa the other day, and she just did a love sign back. I thought that like you. I didn't realize I still had her number. I was glad to know I still had it.
Who's Melissa?
Molly and Philip's middle girl.
Oh, okay. How many girls?
The oldest was Carla, and then Melissa was in the middle, and then Julie was the baby girl.
All the three kids, they have all girls?
Yeah, three girls.
Very good.
And look, they all bought houses and got married. They bought houses before they married.
They did very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
You know, their dad was he was a stickler on that. So
yes.
if they were gonna get married, they had to invest in their own place. So they saved their money.
Very good.
Had weddings and all that. I don't know,
How far did they live from Daytona?
Huh?
How far did they live from Daytona?
Molly and Philip, that is probably maybe what? Maybe 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not far.
Or to an hour. Yeah. It was not DeLand. Oh shoot. Not that far. They weren't that far.
Go that far out, Shelley?
Huh?
What made them go that far away from Daytona Beach?
Well, I think while Molly was still in California, you remember she stayed in California a year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she stayed in California until they sold the house.
Okay.
And then I guess Philip wanted to find something, he wanted land and he wanted to be, well, see, they were still kind of mad and embarrassed about that stuff that happened with Dad saying that he didn't have nothing to do with them writing that list. So Philip was mad about that. So they didn't want to be officers no more, and they kind of didn't want to be where people could just drop by.
I understand.
So he found him a house out in the woods with like the Trump representatives.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so that's where they almost had it.
Did you speak to Jonathan recently?
Oh, anyway, yeah, he bought a house out there, so I'm sure they may have paid cash.
Someone was detected
at that time.
That sounds like Teresa.
Because they sold the house over there, and once they sold the house, then Molly came out.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, because I guess it was about a year before she came, so he had started working. He was making good money for down there. He by him having a license and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I'm sure you have to get a license too for that area wherever he was doing construction. But he did a lot of add-on to their house or whatever, that built stuff on the land.
Very good.
So, that's where Dawn and her husband bought out there in that area. It'll come to me in a minute. I keep want to say it, the area, and keep getting away from me. Because it's almost kind of like Altadena or something. But Mike and his wife end up selling their house. They had a house not too far, and not in Daytona Beach, but it was, where they was only like maybe 15, 20 minutes from class. I think that New Smyrna. I think that's where they are.
Did they still drive? Did they still go to the Daytona class?
Oh yeah. When they first got there, I mean, since they were there, they attended class every time until Dad passed. I mean, even after he passed, until they did that separation.
No, I mean Don.
Oh no, they off and on they were, but then I guess after that separation happened, her and her family didn't come back. But they weren't, I don't think they were with Molly and them either, but they may be now, because even though Tina, she lives like around the corner from Janice, she still goes to class with Molly and them. And Gary and his wife, Jerry and his wife, they go to class with them too.
Okay.
So now they the ones that travel.
Oh, okay.
So Tina might ride in with them, or if she's not driving. But yeah, that's where they I heard that he built a class on his property.
Oh wow.
That was what I heard. So he probably did there, just like he did in Daytona, because they took that. He's the one that did the work in that where they are now, which was a boat garage.
Oh, okay.
So he transformed it into a classroom, but they need to go on and get somewhere else, because every time a storm or something comes through, they get flooded.
That's why it was a boat garage.
Right. Right. And Denise's, I think the guy that owns that property now, Denise's daughter married him.
Oh, okay.
Donald and Denise's daughter, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an older guy. I guess he's probably about the same age as their dad.
Oh, okay.
Donald likes him, say he's a really nice guy. And
I see Jonathan's there. Jonathan, how you doing?
Howdy.
Hey.
Howdy. I was really rubbing out a tank and working on the truck, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's already 3 o'clock.
Right? Hey, I understand.
Have to change
I didn't even get started with a project today because I knew I would have been. I'm not as quick as you are. I have to do mine in little spurts and sit down.
I feel it.
But yesterday, I did a little bit yesterday. I was trying to teach myself how to use that new saw that had the water hose connection. Yeah, it's pretty. It's okay. Now I just got to learn how to use the other one, the one you said you didn't like too much.
Yeah, I like the precision that the wet saw gives.
Well, this other one's supposed to have some kind of red light, so it'll help you make the straight line. But like I said, I haven't tried it out yet. I usually would want somebody to show me, but there's nobody around to show me, so I have to just go and look. I have to talk to Yahweh to help me out.
You got
inspiration to get it done right.
You got a carpenter square, right?
Huh?
You got a speed square? It's like the one that looks like a right angle, like half of a square.
I probably do. I think I do.
It's like a silver triangle. You can usually butt it. It has a guide on it. You can butt it up against whatever you're cutting, and then just slide that saw up against it and keep you a straight line.
Well, that thing has that.
Okay.
It has something to hold it in place and all that stuff. You know, that, sometimes I feel a little intimidated, so I'll try to take my time and do it right. But you know what? Renard, I was looking, I ran across, you have a book of lectures of the founder, right?
Yes.
Yeah, man. It's awesome sometimes. I used to print them out, things that somebody used to put some things online, but what I didn't care for that is that they get you all riled up and then it was over with. But I did start reading a lecture where Gary Kinley moderated a class in 1974.
Uh-huh.
And it's just so dumbfounding that how he just explains everything, and you wonder, how did they go wrong? How did they go wrong when you can look? I mean, just like go back and just read. You don't even have to listen to a tape, but we can go back and read some of those translations, and even where the translator fell off, you still know what the man said,
Yeah.
Well, it's because that's what happened with. Well, it's a recapitulation of what occurred with the Roman Catholic Church and what the beast did while reigning in that church. Remember, the Roman Catholic Church banned people from having the Bible, told them not to read the Bible. Only the priests knew what to read, and if you read it, you could be misled and all that kind of stuff. IDMR headquarters did the same thing. They told their people not to read the transcripts of the founder, not to read this, not to read the textbook, because if they did, they would get confused, and they had to listen to their deans for instruction.
No, in this lecture, I mean, it's just so plain, and he tells you, now don't, you can't even get confused how plain he makes it, and especially once you read the words where he's talking about, he's explaining to them how that it was only the 70 elders, that saw Elohim, and they don't, and not the children of Israel, but those 70 elders, and how they were left when Moses went into the mount alone and by himself, and he so clearly tells them, that no, don't, listen to what he's saying, and understand that those 70 elders, they did see Elohim, but it wasn't all the children of that children of Israel that saw, but they did, and they was told to stay at, in the cleft of that mountain until Moses came back and didn't do that. But
I think there's
I just found it.
There's a verse where Yahweh said, "You heard my voice, but you saw no similitude," or something like that.
Similitude, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then, but then because he speaks in there, one statement where he says, now, where he's explaining the beginning of pure spirit. And like we say all the time, even spirit is not co-eternal with Yahweh, And I just, reading it.
Okay.
That's the issue, Kelly. It's so plain. That's the issue.
So spirit.
It's so plain that it makes all of them deemed to be fools and liars.
Yeah. Do you have one of those books, Jonathan? I mean, you have the.
There's a few different ones. There's the white book, the black book, the green book.
Well, no. I mean, lectures. Because this one is.
Do you know the name of it?
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
I can pull it up.
Hold on. No. Wait a minute. Okay. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Oh, like Gary was about to say something too.
Yeah, I was gonna give him the floor or try to shut up so he could say what he had to say.
No,
okay.
It's quiet.
I just sent a picture. You guys can blow it up and see what I'm talking about, and if you let me know if you get it.
That's my phone.
Jerry, you are on that thing, right? I mean, that one that he's on there, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, I believe I added Gary on there too.
I didn't get it. The question I wanted to ask Joey was that you said that I think you said Dr. Kenny said spirit was not co-eternal with Yahweh, but Yahweh is spirit. So can you explain that?
Yahweh produced spirit.
Right. Yeah. Let me know if you guys are you getting it, Renard?
I'm looking now. It's
okay.
The transcript Yahweh took on shape and form. Actually, I love that lecture. Okay.
What I'm talking about. Yeah, I would rather you see what I'm talking about, and then you can see the date on it and everything.
I got the transcript open.
Okay, is that one of them?
The rest of the league is figuring it out.
It's called Yahweh took on shape and form. Possibly 1974.
Right.
Yeah. There's a website that Carla Kinley started that has all the transcripts. Has like 100 or so transcripts on it.
Yeah. Well, I have mine in a book. You know, and so I mean, I was just the other day doing some stuff and decided, let me, you know, it catches you off guard about something and then you decide, let me sit down and read it.
Thing that they want to, which is getting off. Throw the ball to Tyler Warren, give it to Pittman for the backfield, hand it to Jonathan Taylor on the jet sweep. There's just a myriad of things that you can do with your Shane Steichen. And the beauty of it is when you stand
Who's that speaking?
What is that?
it's wide open. And look at this. Daniel Jones up there with some of the great history of the game.
I think that's you, Rita.
Did you find that one, Jonathan? You found it, right?
Yeah, I have it pulled up on the patternofeverything.org.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, read it.
You want me to start reading the transcript?
Comes right up in his face.
Read it from what point? From the start of it?
Well,
right up.
how many pages is it?
Or it's not Rita's. I just need to. I think it's yours, Doc.
No, it's not mine. There's no sound in here.
Not mine either.
Okay, the news stuff was hers. There's just a slight background noise from yours.
Rita just hung up. There's no noise in here at all. Nothing going. Nothing but me.
Yeah, I usually find out the noise because when you click on participants on the application, it'll have an audio bubble showing whose phone is lighting up, where the sound is coming from. That's how I usually pin the sound. Well, but where should I start reading in the transcript?
Well, we just read from the beginning a little bit, and then anybody wants to comment, we can stop and say, you know.
Okay.
It has opening.
So where are we reading from? Speak unto Aaron, my brother, or what?
Here, I'll share the link for the transcript.
Yeah. Well, I don't need. I mean, okay, but I'm gonna be looking. I'm gonna be reading it. I mean, I'm gonna be listening as I turn the pages from it.
Oh, it's not that Jerry Kinley moderated it. He gives an introduction to what the tape's about before the tape starts.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what it says right here. Because it says Jerry Kinley starts on the tape. Hello, my name is Jerry Kinley. You're about to hear a lecture of Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. This is a tape that belonged to Dr. Frank Gross, Vice President of Reel to Reel to Dr. Oliver and Lejeune Gill. This tape was partially taped over by Dr. Gross of another lecture given by Dr. Henry Clifford Kinley. And at the end of that lecture, it picked right up talking about Yahweh taking on shape and form. Since Dr. Kinley is the only man at the end of this age to receive the divine vision revelation, without improvement, correction, we just cannot improve upon the thing that Dr. Kinley explained. It's been said many times in Los Angeles and Springfield, if anyone can improve upon, no one took the time. He explained, then you never will get it. So sit back and enjoy this tape. It's an hour long, and listen how the founder explained how Yahweh took on shape and form. Now this tape starts with now then this being pure spirit. See, you can't visualize it, you can't taste it, you can't smell it, and it just won't cooperate with the five senses. Now, listen closely. I use these words a little bit different than what you have in the book there. It means the same thing. Now here's the difference. The way I use them. In this cloud, in this vision to Moses, the pure spirit without any shape or form, without any shape or without any form at all, nothing distinguishes it. It says no similar. They saw no similitude. Now listen close. Now Yahweh himself took on these words, took on shape and form. Now that's the difference. And by him taking on that shape and form, then Moses saw, and the elders saw, this incorporeal man up there in a vision. They saw him in a vision. Now this here is the beginning of the creation. Now that's what John is saying. This is the faithful and true witness. He is the beginning of the creation of Yahweh. Of Yahweh. Now are you listening? When Yahweh taken on this shape and form, that's all he wrote. That's all. That's the beginning. That's the end of it. That's the beginning of the creation. Now then, that makes me have to explain this. I want Colossians 1:15 to 18.
Okay, Rita, want to read that? Or is that what's below?
You're saying me?
You know, it's funny. I can share my screen as well while I read. So
No, go ahead.
Well, no, like, if someone wants to read the scripture verses while I'm reading, that's fine, too. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. Is that what you guys want me to do? Say so. Okay, well then you're going to have to wait a second. Let me just open up Colossians. I'm sorry. I just rolled in a little late, I'm sorry. Okay, what is it? Read it. Tell me what it is. Colossians what?
The first chapter, verse 15 through 18.
Okay, the first chapter. Come on, hands work. Okay.
It's gonna be
15?
odd. It's gonna be odd doing this. You know how the founder be breaking it up in the middle of each sentence.
Okay. Okay. 15 through 18. Who is the image of the invisible Yahweh, the firstborn of every creation? For by him were all things created. There are that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him, and he is before all things, and by him all things consist. And he is the head of the body of the creation, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence.
Going back.
That's Colossians. Did I read the second or the first?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
That's exactly it. Now we go back to the founder breaking it down. The reader says, "Who is the image of the invisible L?" Now look, I just got through telling you, don't pass on. See, this was an invisible cloud. It was in the eyes of the children of Israel. In other words, the cloud was revealed to the children of Israel, but the other fellow didn't see it. Now that, who is the beginning of the creation of Yahweh? All right, repeat. Who is the image of the invisible Yahweh? Now he is the image of the invisible El, the God, or El, reader, the first cause of all creation. Now he's the first cause. He's the first cause of all creation. You see? You see that now? He's the first cause. Just to turn it around and say it another way, the same thing, he had to take on shape and form, and had to appear to Moses before they could get him to creating. You see what I mean? Now somebody ought to say, well, where do you find that at in the book? You remember we told you this. What we want to do is take it from Genesis to Revelation. And you remember I told you the Exodus was before the Genesis. Now listen. Here in the first chapter of Genesis, you read, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." I told you that was not the beginning of the creation. And I had to go to Revelations to prove that that was not the beginning of the creation. Well, if that's not the beginning, it's the beginning of Moses' vision. In the beginning of his vision. Where do you have that vision at? Where do you have the vision at? How do you know? How do you know that just what I just got through telling you is right? Where is your Bible for it? And who said so? Get the point? Now that brings me down to this. Well, I'll put it up here. See, I'm playing like I forgot it now, so I can go back and show you when you forget where you come from. Where you come right up here and find it. That's Exodus 24:9 and 10. Now there's one thing. Now we had put this on this other chart. If it isn't up here, it is not up here. I mean the verse isn't. The 24th chapter and the first verse. We put it up in here. And he said unto Moses, Dr. Kenley repeats, reader, come up unto Yahweh, thou, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel. All right, read on. And worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near Yahweh. And Moses alone. Say, folks, Moses alone. Moses by himself. Don't bring nobody with you. Now, what he's setting up there, I'll tell you. Of course, now I'll have to go in Hebrews there. Listen closely. This is in the cloud. And Moses alone. Nope. Don't the 70 elders. Nope. Don't. No. Nah. You stay off. Back here. And Moses alone and by himself. Now, here's what that did. See it set up. Let me see if I can. I better show you on this chart. See this here? This here is the same. This is the cloud here. Listen, read Leviticus 16:2, right while you're on it. And Yahweh said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron thy brother. Now listen, you tell Aaron, your brother. Now you see Aaron his brother and 70 of the elders and Nadab and Abihu was right along with him when he went up in the mount. But Moses by himself and alone shall come into the midst of that cloud. Now then, Aaron, you speak. Moses, you speak to your brother. What? That he come not at all times within the veil. Don't come in within this most holy place, within that veil. Don't come in. And when he does come in, he comes in alone and by himself. You see, he'd better not be running in and out of there. If he does, then what happens? Within the veil before the mercy seat upon the ark, that he die not. Do you see that now? See what's going to happen? Don't be running in and out of here. All right now, what? For I will appear within the cloud. Now get this one. For I will dwell within the cloud, upon the mercy seat. Upon the mercy seat. Now here he is. He's in the cloud outside and telling Moses to come in along. Don't bring nobody in with you. Don't bring your brother and none of your folks or nobody by himself. You see that now? And that was setting up this type here in the most holy place. Aaron by himself and alone, because he will dwell between the wings of the cherubim within the cloud. He's dwelling within the cloud by himself. So come in by yourself. Are you listening now? Yes. See now what Moses seen within that cloud. That's what he wrote down in the book. Now that means this. Then it was revealed to Moses. Now you got it over here in Revelations. Revealed. Now what Moses saw in the cloud is got to tie in with John. That's why his life was saved. See, couldn't nobody put him in death nor nothing. Because you see, this vision and this revelation had to be confirmed. Now, are you listening? Now, make sure you listen and hear right. And if you just think you didn't hear right, you hold up your hand, because I want you to get this right. When Moses went within the cloud, alone and by himself, this is what he saw. He saw the man. Well, where did it say that? It says that right down here in Exodus. Now then, look, these 70 elders, they saw the man, but they were afar off. They were afar off. They were not in the midst of the cloud. That's the reason why we put Moses up here. They saw Moses here. They saw the vision. Now this image and this form was revealed to them. I mean Moses and the 70 elders in that cloud. But they stood afar off, and they could see, and it was revealed to them that shape and that form. Now look, John is telling you this. This is the beginning of the creation. He's the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. I put it in this term that he took on shape and form within that cloud, but they did not see any similitude at all when they came out of Egypt within the cloud. Now then, you have here that Aaron come in here by himself within the cloud, or within the most holy place, and he would dwell within the cloud between the wings of the cherubim in the most holy place. And when he would go in the cloud, that's once every year, not every day, but once every year, every day he went into the lower part of the sanctuary, every day. And once every year, round the 10th of October, he went within the veil, the second veil, and entered on into the most holy place. And that not without blood. Listen, folks. And he sprinkled that blood toward the mercy seat 7 times. Now, if I'd take you, just like this tabernacle, that's the reason why I told you before I went out. We want some knowledge of the Godhead. We don't want no mistakes. We don't want no superstitions. We don't want no errors. We don't want no tomfoolery. Now, I have to say this. Now, he transfigured into this tabernacle, and Moses saw that tabernacle up there in the mountain. Now, the tabernacle was a most holy place, and a court and an outer court. That's 1, 2, 3. Any idiot from anywhere can say that. You see, get the point? But this is only one tabernacle, but it's threefold. See, he's in the shape and form of a man. Then Moses looked at this man and said, in the image, man was created and made in the likeness and image of God. Now then, if the tabernacle is one, most holy place and outer court, and he's transformed or transfigured into that, then you could look at yourself. You are soul, body, and spirit. You have to be in order to be made in his likeness and image. You see what I mean? You see how you prove a thing? Now, when you go into the ultramicroscopic particles of matter, you take the natural to see the spirit. Any scientist from Russia, England, or anywhere, it don't make no difference. He'll tell you here the basic elements of matter, and he'll tell you all of them are threefold: proton, neutron, electron. Great $64,000 question? Why? Now that's the question. You are pneuma, psyche, and soma, soul, body, and spirit. The Father, the Word, the Holy Spirit. These three are one. The majority of the people, they don't see how you get 3 in 1. Yeah, they'll tell you in a minute, I can see how you can get 1 into 3, but I can't see how you can get 3 into 1. See, it don't work out according to mathematical equation. Now, you put my hand on your head, I can feel that hair, but I surely didn't put my hand on your spirit or mind. All right. Now, did you know where we are? See, don't come in. Moses, you come in here and in the middle by yourself. Aaron, you come within this, in the midst here, because I'll dwell in the cloud, just like he dwelled in the cloud here. Moses, come in alone. Aaron, come in alone. For I will dwell within the cloud in the most holy place. You see that now? You see it? Now what happens within the cloud? For I will dwell within the cloud. Now then, go back to Exodus, where you was. Read, and Moses alone shall come near Yahweh, and Moses alone by himself shall come near. But they shall not come nigh. But don't leave him back there. And neither shall the people go up with him. Nope, and neither shall the people go up with him. Now look here, folks. Everybody walking around saying, listen, I'm serve God according to the way I see fit to. And if God wants me to know anything about it, he's got to show me. You understand? You see what I'm talking about? Why can't he reveal it to me? I'll do it my way and you do it yours. Everybody's entitled to their own belief. Do you understand what I'm talking about? See, he didn't reveal it to everybody and never showed it to everybody. Didn't intend to in the first place. He just appeared here to the 70 elders, and Moses by himself went within the midst of that cloud. Do you see? Now when the high priest sprinkled that blood 7 times toward the mercy seat, then he appeared in the cloud. That's called a Shekinah, or Shekinah. There wasn't nobody in there but Aaron by himself. Don't bring none of your folks, nor nobody else in there. See it? See how God works it? And then the devil says, look here. Why is it he can't show me? Why can't I come in? Well, try going in and see what happens. He told you what would happen, didn't he? Try reading it again. And Yahweh said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place within the veil, before the mercy seat, which is upon the ark, that he die not. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? You're going to hear God or else. Don't make no difference what you think and what you believe and how you feel about it. God don't have no respect at all for it. It's his purpose, his plan, and he works all things after the counsel of his own will. You can't put yourself into it. Do you get it? Student, yeah. See how important it is? Now I told you. Do you understand now the beginning of creation? And do you understand that Moses, when he's talking here in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, 7, 1, in the beginning Elohim, where God created the heavens and the earth, that's in the beginning of Moses' vision, not the creation? I read to you what the beginning of the creation was. I did read it out the Bible. Do you want to argue about that? You want to chew the rag about it, do you? Let's get started. Now then, you got to ask. You got a question to ask? And the man says, yes. Well, ask it. I give you that privilege. The man says, in the beginning, Elohim, or, Dr. Kenley, Elohim. Elohim. The man says, it says God here in the King James. Dr. Kenley, yeah. Man, then why did you say Yahweh? Dr. Kenley, how's that? Man, why did you say Yahweh instead of Elohim? Dr. Kenley, why didn't we say Yahweh instead of Elohim? Why did you say that? Why did who say that? Man, well, Dr. Kenley, you mean why didn't I or why didn't that? Man, well, that's what it says. Well, now, what I'm trying to figure out now is this. Now we will now go on back over there and take the King James, the other version, and read Revelation 3:14. He asked the question. He want to know why you didn't say Elohim, Dr. Kenley. Why I didn't say Elohim. No, why you didn't say Yahweh. He doesn't understand that Yahweh is Elohim in shape or form. Well, now, then, let's straighten him up. Elohim is a title. God is a title, not a name. Now, when the book, this King James Version, was made, they should have said, read it out of the other book, the Holy Name Bible, where you want it. Genesis, Dr. Kenley. No, get it over there in Revelations 3:14. And unto the messenger of the, and Dr. Gill says, he wants the first chapter of Genesis. Dr. Kenley says, Genesis, the first chapter of Genesis. Reader, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Dr. Kenley, now, fella, listen up, look up. See, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Now, it was Elohim, not God. God is a title. The reader says, I understand, and Yahweh is what I meant. Why did you say Yahweh? Dr. Kenley, well, that's what he's talking about. Listen here, let me explain to you again. Let me give it to you again. You see, all of this, now you pay attention. Try to pay attention to this time. See, it's nothing exists, not a thing, but Yahweh. See, it's nothing exists, not a thing, but Yahweh. I'd have you know, Yahweh is the Father. Now I explained that Yahweh took on a shape and a form. Now that's the Elohim you're talking about that they could see in this vision up here. You got me now? Now that's one, cloud. This is two, shape and form. Now then he come on down and he took on a physical body. Now that's what you call Jesus. That's wrong. It ought to have been Yahshua. But in the translation of the King James Version, they changed all of this that it should have been and put it the way that you have it in yours. And when the Holy Name Bible is written, that's what they're working with, the true names of the Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit. So now you ask the question, why didn't I say Yahweh? Now I'm going to repeat myself. I said Yahweh took on shape and form, not in totality. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't. And that shape and form, and that shape and the form is Elohim, and Elohim and God is interchanged. God is a title. I told you this was Yahweh here without shape and form. This is Yahweh here with shape and form. And with shape and form, he's called Elohim. Now this is seen only in a vision. Nobody saw him but the 70 elders and Moses that went up into the mountain. Clear? Clean and clear now? Then he comes into the world. He comes into the flesh. Everybody saw him, but they didn't recognize that this was Yahweh in shape and form. And that's where we got the 1, 2, 3 from in the tabernacle. The Father, the Word, and the Holy Spirit. All one. Now do you understand now? You sure? A man says, well, I'm going to have to think about it. Dr. Kinley says, yeah, you're going to have to do some thinking about it. Of course. But that's it. Does everybody else understand any question about it? Dr. Frank Gross says, Dr. Kenley, does he mean about the... Dr. Gill says, I tell you, I think I threw him off because I was reading out the King James Bible, and I was looking, and I used the word Yahweh. And in here, it's God created the heavens and the earth, but I substituted the word God, and I put in Yahweh, but I really should have been saying Elohim. The reader says, that's right. Dr. Kenley says, see, because this creation is, no one could see God create or Yahweh create. And so when he took on shape and form, he saw Elohim, and that's what they saw create the heavens and the earth. Yeah, that's right. Now, here's the now. Let's get ourselves together so we can make sense. Now, you see, this is Moses seeing a vision. Now, I want you to know that Moses saw that vision by himself. Now, this is what we're coming down to. We're coming down to it in the 24th chapter of Exodus. You remember the first verse that said Moses should come in alone and by himself? Then I stopped and correlated the high priest alone and by himself come into the most holy place within the cloud. All right, read on. You want 9 and 10? Dr. Conley, yes, 9 and 10. Then went up Moses, Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 elders of Israel, and they saw Elohim of Israel. And they saw. Now here we come up here in the first chapter of St. John. It says, no man has seen God at any time. Then somebody says, well, they saw. And then over here it says, they didn't see. No man is ever seen him. Now you're between the hawk and the buzzard, the devil and the deep blue sea. Why? Because of your incomprehension. You understand what I'm talking about? Listen, folks, nobody has ever seen and never will see Yahweh in his totality while you're in this physical body. Why? Because you can't stand here and look over in Germany and all around over there. Nobody has ever went up above the sun, moon, and stars, or ever went up to one of them, not yet. And if they haven't understood the thing around them yet, and he's ever present at all times, but nobody has seen him, I'm talking about the Father, so then what he did was taken on shape and form, not in totality. Because you see, if he'd taken on shape and form in totality, then that would have meant that all the cloud was condensed and compressed into this. And it wouldn't have been any way for him to come in the midst of it. You see the point? So that's in part. But listen, folks, there's nothing in the cloud that isn't in this. Not a thing. One is expanded and the other's condensed. This is the beginning, as you read in your book. In the beginning, God created. Now listen, this is the beginning of Moses' vision, not the beginning of the creation. This is the beginning of the creation. Then we read over there in Colossians, you read it, read it again. Who is the image of the invisible El, the first cause of all creation. Now he's the first cause of all creation. Now listen, here's where we make one of the most colossal blunders that there ever was. This is how we make it. Are you listening? You sure? Now when this taken on, see this and this taken on a physical shape and form, maybe you better read. See, it's just going to be too bad for me to stand here and tell it, because somebody going to say, well, I didn't see through that. 1 Timothy 3:16, and beyond controversy, deep is the mystery. Read it out of the King James Version. A lot of things that man says, you see, it's not clear. I believe in talking clear. Reader, and without controversy, great is the mystery. Wait a minute. What is a controversy? It's without an argument. It's without any debate at all. It's without any imagination. It's just the truth alone, and stands alone and by itself. Without any discussion. This is the way it is. Alright? Without controversy. Great is the mystery of godliness. Now, it's a great big mystery. Now, you expect all these idiots around here calling themselves preachers to understand the great mystery? See, it don't even make sense. But there's no need of no argument about it. Now, somebody, as I would say, I said, God sent me in the last days. I said that. Well, now you prove it, HC. Now, me getting up here, yak, that won't get it, because all the devil's going to do is just say, it ain't so. When God told Adam and them not to eat of the fruit of that tree, did they would surely die. All the devil had to say was, you won't surely die. Somebody said, well, who do you think he is? Talking about me. Messiah was talking about, now Messiah said this. He walked around, listen to me folks, I don't have time to read everything. He walked around and he was just always talking about my father and my father, my father, our father, my father. One of the boys called him up on the carpet one day, Philip, said, say, look, you show us the Father. Show us 12 boys here. You show us the Father so we can get some satisfaction out of it. You know what he said to him? Said, when you seen me, Philip, have I been so long a time with you, and you don't know me when you see me? When you see me, I said, when you see me, you see the Father. My Father in me, he doeth the works. I've told you, I don't know how many times, you and your hard head, I can't do nothing. Just like the Messiah said, and if it's anything done, look at all these people being healed. Me standing around yakking and running my mouth, you get up from there and tell me somebody you know or ever read after. Now you either do it now or shut your mouth forever. I've told you many times, yes, even out here in Los Angeles, they've witnessed them. Haven't I, Sister Mary? Didn't I tell him day and hour when the earthquake would be in Alaska? Didn't I tell him day and hour when the thresher would be in the bottom of the sea? Listen, let me tell you something. There's never going to be a year. There's just not going to be one that this thing is not going to repeat. There's going to be a reflection every time it comes up there. There's going to be a reflection. And you could learn something about it if you just sat still and let God tell you through somebody. You could learn it too. Ain't that right, Brother Mitchell? Brother Mitchell says, right. And that's what Brother Dennis was trying to tell you too. But no, you won't let nobody tell you. And you know all about it. You can go home, go to bed, and go to sleep and forget all about it. You don't care nothing about it. Get the point? You just not interested. You just imagine you are. Now he said, when you see me, you see the Father. Messiah said, I can of my own self can do nothing. He doeth the work. Wherefore he says, when he ascended, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto men. You got 9 different gifts there that's listed in the book that the Apostle Paul said. Is that right? One is the spirit of discernment. And you don't know the difference between your left hand and your right hand. You don't know the difference between a false and a true. You think you could just press on, go ahead, along, and get by with that. Listen, I do it my way and you do it your way. Yes, that's what's going to happen, and you're going to go to hell doing like that too. And as much so as God has prepared something nice for them that believe on Him, He's also prepared something worse than that. I mean fire for the rest of them. Somebody say, well look, let me see here. You think God's going to burn this thing up? Well then how then, if He's going to burn it up, how am I going to meet Him there? How's He going to fix something for me over there? That's what you read over there in Jude this morning about Sodom and Gomorrah. They were enticed by the devil. He burned it up. Sodom and Gomorrah, they were both in the Red Sea. He told Abraham and Lot, listen, get his stuff together and get out. They said, no, we got so many Christians down there. I'm trying to tell you where you can understand. He says, well, if we can find 50 out of all these folks around in here, they tried it and they never done no good, I have to cut the story up and make it short. So finally they just went on and God burnt the city down, Sodom and Gomorrah. She's in the bottom of the dead or the salt sea. Interesting. Lot's wife, she looked back and she turned to a pillar of salt. Now listen here, what I'm telling you. God is burning this thing up, just like God is drowning the world out. He knew how to save Noah and them, and Peter put it this way: God knows how to deliver the righteous and to reserve the wicked against the day of judgment to be punished. Now whatever you yield your members, that's whose servant you are. And I'd have you know, nobody can serve two masters. He must either hate the one and love the other. Yahshua the Messiah said, say, look, you call me Lord and Master, and so I am. But say, why don't you do what I say? Explain that. You see the point? Now, we understand we're talking about Genesis and Revelations. Now, we're coming on down. We showed you what the creation was. We took Colossians and showed you the same thing we showed you in Revelations. Now, read Colossians, and then we'll go back and put it together. For by him were all things created. Who is the image of the invisible El. Now, he's the image. See, I told you that he took on shape and form, or took on an image. This is invisible here. I read. The first cause of all creation. Now, he's the first cause. First cause. A while ago, I said this, that Yahweh took on shape and form. This is Elohim. Say, he's the first cause. This is the true and faithful witness. Do you see? Do you understand? First cause of all creation. By him and through him were all things made. I told you a while ago in this way, that's all that he did, was the Father just took on shape and form. Right there is where he quit. And this shape and form, this shape and him, and this shape and form is the first cause of all creation. That's what you just read. And by him, all things are created. Thundering outside. Look, when he got in a body and walked around, they didn't know nothing about him. He was always talking about his Father. I just got through explaining that to you. And without controversy. Now, it's without any debate, folks. Ain't no need of arguing about it. Great is the mystery of Yahweh. Great. It's a great big mystery. Everybody don't understand it. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the Spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory, and ascended on back to where he was with the Father before. Now, you want to argue? Well, look, he went around. This is what the book says. This is what the law and the prophets said he would do. They said he would bind up the brokenhearted. He would heal the sick. Work's cut out for him before he come. Now, when he come along raising the dead and healing the sick of all the disease and stuff, and they talk about show us the Father, get the point? The Father's in me. Listen, I couldn't do that. I can't do nothing. Say, Gil, it was him that afflicted them with all these diseases. See all? Just all kinds. And it was him in that body that come along and healed all of them out there. It's just that simple. But the devil always wants some kind of substitute. If mine is just as good as yours, mine and yours, neither one ain't no good. Now, it's either obey and be saved, disobey and be lost. Now, I'm just giving it to you straight from the shoulder. All right, without controversy, ain't no need in arguing about it. It's a great big mystery. Yes, that's a great big mystery. Everybody in town don't understand it, how that he took on a shape and a form. Everybody don't understand that. Great big mystery up there in that vision. He took on a shape and form and come through the loins of the Virgin Mary. Say, listen, you know, Gil, I don't know whether you know it or not. When he was here, wasn't no woman and no man at all. His father and mother walking around in the flesh, too. Yes, sir, you see there? Now, if you can't see him coming through the loins of this Virgin Mary, that ought not to be near as hard as you can see him just taking on a physical body and just walk on out. Now, here you are all puzzled about him being born of the Virgin Mary. How do you explain this one? Somebody says. Well, I don't believe that. Well, all right then. I tell you what. You tell me. You tell me how he's going to make a man. If he can't do that, tell me how he's going to make one. And you got it made. Do you see what I mean? Now then, folks, You just might as well break on down and get it over with. The sooner the better. Ain't that right, Gil? Now, Paul is talking about, without controversy, great is the mystery of God. And God was manifested in the flesh, seen of angels, believed on in the world, preached or taught unto the Gentiles, and received back up unto glory. Now, that's without any debates and any arguments. Of course, he did have plenty of debates and plenty of arguments from some of them. Here he comes now, walking along. Here's the smart boys, just like you got out here now. Pharisees and the scribes and the Sadducees, the Essenes, the Zealots, and the Nazarenes said, now look here, by what authority do you do so and so and so? You didn't come up here to the Sanhedrin Council and ask us to give you some endorsements and announce your public ministry. And since you didn't, by what authority do you do this, that, and the other? You didn't see us about it. That's what they want to know about me. What school did you go to? Where did you get your authority? You little black round-shouldered, nappy-headed Negro. Oh, the devil just takes his story. Anything he can go on up with, he'll give you a good story. Says, who told you? You were a preacher. I'm telling you. Do you see it now? Now let's get on, because we want to get all the way through this. Now look, folks, we'll move so quickly you won't realize that it's being done. Now you see what we just got through saying there? Without any controversy, without any debates, without any argumentation, without anything at all, great is the mystery of God. God was manifested in the earth, seen of angels, believed on in the world, and Yahweh was manifested in the body, here in the image and likeness of Yahweh. Listen, I want you to read something else for me. 1 Corinthians 15:28. I want you to see what the climax of the thing is. And when all things shall be subdued unto him. Now listen, folks. When Messiah resurrected from the dead, said, I have the keys. I have the keys. Listen at me. It says, all power that there is in heaven and all that there is in earth is given into my hand. All of it. There's no power in heaven. There's not one on earth, but what isn't given into my hand. Now we'll take this. We could take this. I saw an angel come down from heaven having the keys to the bottomless pit. Right down here at the tomb. Right here. You could see it on this chart. Had a chain in his hand. Those are the ages and the dispensations. One is linked right into another one. And the keys of death, keys of hell, keys to the grave. And when he resurrected from the dead, all the power that there was in heaven and all that there is in earth is given into my hand. Now then, read on. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, when everything shall be subdued, listen, folks, when all the Baptists, the Methodists, Presbyterians, the Roman Catholics, and everything is brought down to where they have to bow down to him, all of these, he's going to rule to them too. Somebody say, listen, well, listen, I don't care how bullheaded you are, how stubborn you are. He's going to rule all nations with the rod of iron. Now, we talking about Yahweh now. We talking about the Son, Yahshua. We talking about Yahweh Elohim and Yahshua, the Father, the Word, and the Holy Ghost. We're talking about without shape and without the shape and form, and we're talking about without shape and with the shape and form. And we're talking about him down in the flesh. We're talking about him now after he's fulfilled and resurrected from the dead, gone on back to where he was, and there he sat. And all the power there is. And he's going to rule and reign until the last enemy is destroyed. And then he'll put down all rule and all authority and all power, talking about Yahshua now, and give it back to Yahweh. What for? That Yahweh may be all in all, as he was before taking on this shape and form and carrying out his purpose. Now, do you understand that? Read that out of the book. And when all things shall be subdued unto him, that's right, then shall the Son also himself be subject unto him, that put all things under him, that Yahweh may be all in all. See that? Yahweh may be all, or the Father be all in all. Folks, that's all. And that's what it is. Now let's get back. Now we got the Genesis, and we showed you in Revelations that who that was. We showed you that Moses went in the midst of the cloud, and now we got him up here in the midst of the cloud. All right, read the 12th verse. And Yahweh said unto Moses, come up to me in the mount, and be there, and I will give thee tables of stone, and a law, and commandments which I have written. that thou may teach them. And Moses rose up, and his minister Joshua. Now you see right there is where we missed the boat. Now who is his minister? And where is he going? Right there is where we missed the boat. Now he told him not to come in here. Now you remember? Read the first verse. Now you're still in the 24th chapter. Read the first verse. He told to come in here alone. And Moses and his minister, what? I want to know who his minister is. And Moses rose up and his minister Joshua. That's what I want to know. I want to hear that called Joshua. But he told him to come in here alone. But I want to know where Joshua is going. Said Moses rose up. And if you read a little further down there, he said, told the rest of them, you stay back here. He told him to come in there alone. Now where is Joshua going? Who is Joshua? Joshua is his minister. Now here comes the same fellow walking right along the Christendom, don't know nothing about it, not a thing, never had a good imagination about it. Now here he comes along, same fellow said, I don't come to be ministered unto, but I come to minister. Pharisees and scribes said, now by what authority do you speak? You didn't come to see us about it. Do you see? Do you get the gist? Moses ministered Joshua. Now look, I told you this. See, I told you this. Joshua, who's he? 13th chapter Numbers. I don't want you to read all of it. We don't have time. 13th chapter Numbers says, Moses called Oshea, the son of Nun. You got Joshua as properly should have said Joshua. Oh, no. You got that wrong. Now, if you look at the 10th chapter of 1 Corinthians, it'll tell you that was who he was, Moses' minister. See, because Oshea was Joshua. Joshua what? That walked around here in the flesh, seen of angels. Oh, the mystery is so great. It's so great until a tongue just can't hardly tell it. You see what I'm talking about? And a carnal mind can't perceive it. It's just got to be revealed. Now there, he is up in the mountain. We don't want to lose track, because we told you we want to get this right straight on through to Revelations. Now, where are you reading at? Exodus 24. Now, you're reading in Exodus. You remember, I told you that the Exodus was before the Genesis. Now, listen to me close. Now, listen closely while I tie this together. Now, I told you this was the beginning of the migration. And how was it down in there on the 14th? It was dark in Egypt 3 days when the Lamb was slain. Look now, then when Messiah is slain, he's going to fulfill, not institute it for God's sake, like you read in your book. See, if he's going to fulfill it, then it's got to be dark out yonder. It turned dark over the face of the earth from the 6th to the 9th hour. Now you see that now? It's nothing else but a repetition of this. There is no excuse for you in your foolishness. Now you in Exodus, now I got to go right back to the Genesis, right back into it. And I'm showing you. I'm taking the whole Bible now. I'm taking the whole Bible. All right, now when we went back into this vision here, the beginning of the vision and the beginning of the migration, it's black, dark down here in Egypt. And the cloud setting here on the top of the water moving there. And Moses' vision of the creation and the beginning of his vision, it's got to be that same way down in Egypt. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. What? And Yahweh and the Spirit of Yahweh moved upon the face of the waters. And the tape ends. That was some reading.
Hallelujah.
Thank you so much for
like
that, Jonathan. That was a lot of reading.
Awesome.
Hallelujah.
Thank you,
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thanks for holding out.
Well, I mean, you couldn't even. Why would you even stop? I was holding my breath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I had read, and I just was wondering, like, how could they miss that? How could they miss not knowing that Yahweh is all, through all, and he didn't not one time mention serving the Son, and that the Son was anything other than the Father himself, Yahweh.
Exactly.
You know?
Made it plain. Made it plain when he said there's nothing except Yahweh that exists. Showed Yahweh was a man come forth, showing you who you are. Like the whole, it's so plain.
What they miss is that we discussed this about a week ago, maybe last week, I think, or about a week before that, of Dr. Kinley's vision that he wrote down. When Dr. Kinley kept saying, told Moses to come up here by himself. Moses come up here by himself. And when you read Dr. Kinley's vision, who is Moses meeting up there? Who's looking at Moses coming up there? You follow what I'm saying? Dr. Kinley in spirit himself, which was Yahweh himself, waiting for him to come up. And even in Dr. Kinley's revelation, he told you how it felt that he was taken over, and all of the sayings and talking or whatever, there wasn't another talk. The talking was within his spirit, wasn't spirit to spirit. That's what that was about. It wasn't no man to man.
Well, and the way Dr. Kinley wrote it too, or really with the true understanding, and you recognize what's being written, the way Yahweh wrote it down was that how people say after the vision revelation there was no more Henry Clifford Kinley. If you read the letter of the vision revelation, before the vision revelation occurred, Henry Clifford Kinley had to be taken out the way, and there was no more Henry Clifford Kinley. Mm-hmm. That's what allowed the vision to come forth, was Yahweh getting rid of that egotistical, misdirected personality.
But I tell you how far we got to go further than that, because remember, Dr. Kinley was healing people as a man without the knowledge of Yahweh.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And he was declared whoever he was when he pressed the loins of his mom. You know.
That's right.
I mean, it was that. It just had to manifest. But what I like too when he says Moses alone and by himself had to come in there. But then in his vision, he's telling you, I was there, you know, but not as HC. That was Yahweh. That's where you don't want to miss the boat, you know.
Yeah.
He was there.
When you read Matthew tell you that like he said that Moses came out of the immediate tent and God stayed in the tent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, because I was reading over that this week, and I was just like, how did they miss? How do you not get? Because one of the first things I was told when I was introduced to this doctrine is that unless you believe that you're Yahweh, you're never going to understand it. You know?
That's the truth.
I mean, you have to first believe that you're Yahweh.
That's where the whole sadness, I'll put it that way for a better sake of words, that the sadness of people being told not to look into the founder and stuff. Like, I didn't grow up in a class. I didn't have no class to go to, so all I had was the founder's material to read and listen to. So it was like, when I went back to the people in classes and stuff, it was like they weren't saying what I hear the founder say for himself. It's like, and then argue with me. Like, Gary, you witnessed that, where people have gotten on me in a severe manner, and I learned early on, the conversation doesn't go where it could if you just say the founder said this, the founder said that. You have to speak with authority, and you have to speak those words. Now, it saddens me where people are like, they challenge you on it as if you're speaking heresy, and in the back of your mind, you're like, I can tell you exactly. I could give you the paper of the founder saying exactly what I'm saying with exactly the heart of what I'm telling you. And it's like, you recognize what you're fighting against? It's like, it gets sad. It gets real sad. Because
you're fighting against principalities. And that's one thing I think sometimes we forget, that when Yahshua said the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in pulling down to the strongholds, well, we keep thinking that's the literal world. But this is right there in class Where the naysayers said, no, that Dr. Kennedy didn't say that. He didn't mean that. You're fighting principalities still. And you keep thinking, oh, that's my brother, my sister. Maybe in a negative form, but those principalities or those demonic entities are still sitting in that same classroom. I remember when I went to class in 1990, that's when I started, and Dennis Cunningham, one of the old timers there under, I think it was, I forget that names now, but he used to tell me, he said, Cooper, he said, demons are right there in class. He said, starting with you. He said, them things, that's what the gospel is for, is to cast some demons out. Right there sitting next to you are more demons. And it's Yahweh's will to cast them out, they will. If not, they're going to say demons, and they're going to argue and fight to their last breath. That Dr. Kinley did not see a vision and did not have a revelation. See? So those are principalities. And yes, what's in class will mimic out what's out in the world. But yeah, Jonathan was attacked constantly. And it's unfortunate after, he took some time away, I was attacked because I got calls personally about his character. And I refuted what was said. Now, we're talking about principalities. See, we're talking about, well, Dr. Kennedy didn't say this or that, but unless you do something at them that Dr. Kennedy actually said in one of his writings, that dispelled all the drama. But they still don't want to talk. So, yeah, we all going to be persecuted and have been persecuted, whether it's by loved ones, friends we know, people we talk with, who don't believe the report. See? And we can't be surprised at that, but we constantly are, but we can't. Principalities, and there's no schisms in the body of Yahcalls. So I want y'all to hear me say that. But I remember in Jude, I think, where it said that beast, man of sin, or the son of perdition, is welcome at your feet. You think Satan ain't going to be sitting up in class? I'm just using words because it's not the words I want to say. But you think that opposition to Dr. Kinley having a vision of revelation is not going to be questioned? Yeah, it is. And you're going to be the one to defend it. You're going to be the one to come up against it, to try to correct in love that brother or that sister, hopefully that they gain a vision of who they are, that they're Yahweh in the body. So that would dispel all the nonsense. But it doesn't always happen. It doesn't. So I don't expect anything, see, but the truth, and that's it. And Yahweh and you'll let you know, that ain't right. See? And that's the love of Yahshua protecting his own self. There's no Gary and there's no Shelly or Teresa. It's just Yahshua talking to Yahshua. Yahshua teaching Yahshua. That's it. It's only Yahweh. And we have to remember that. That's not always going to be shown to people. And that scripture in Genesis says there was darkness on the face of the deep. Well, we're talking about Moses' vision, but he didn't have any. He didn't have no understanding. Therefore, Yahweh took 6 days to explain to Moses what he did instantly. See? So some people cannot quantify the fact that there's no way that the Creator put everything here full, trees, everything. No, it's just not scientifically possible. It has to start with a cell. It has to start with this before it grows up as a tree. And the earth is millions of years old. That's one of the biggest debates in the science arena, that this planet is billions of years old. Then the question you're going to have to ask is, then why did Dr. Kinley not talk about that? You know what I'm saying?
That's why the founder told you about entertaining and submerging yourself in dead men's bones. You get that mixed up in your head. You can't see the light for trying to anticipate what you read.
Vain genealogies, I think he put it. Basically we're arguing with fools or throwing your pearls before swine. So anyway, yeah. Our principalities sometimes sitting right there in a chair with us, or even on a conference call. And we can't be shocked by why are they coming up against me? Why don't they see this? Well, they're not supposed to see him. He got them in darkness. Yes, right. So you can be a witness.
That's why Glenn Kidd kept pointing to Dr. Harris. He said, He said he be dead with the Yahweh. You know that man went to his grave not changing that philosophy?
Mm-hmm.
Went to his grave not changing that, but anyway.
So yeah, that's the reason why we should be shocked why they don't see it, because Yahweh don't want them to see it. He said he'll send them a strong delusion. Well, we got to count on that you're Yahweh sending them a strong delusion. See?
I always use the language that whenever you approach them and they got their fist balled up, that's the same thing. That, you know, there's no love there.
I remember a song saying, "What love got to do with it?"
Everything.
Yes, it does, everything. But they don't have no love for it. Yeah, but when they don't have no love, that's all they see. What love got to do with it? I don't care about the truth. That's not so.
You know, that's why that it always occurs with us where it's like it shocks us, and you know, it's not supposed to not shock us, because the mind of the devil is not something a son of Yahweh is supposed to comprehend, because what's in that mind is not in the mind of the son. So it's like, that's why you'd be like, what? Like, how did you fall? Like everything was you covering. Like, that's not something I would do. That's why it shocks me. You know what I mean?
I disagree with that, Jonathan. You're Yahweh in the body. You mean to expect me that Yahweh created everything, and you don't expect that negative spirit to act like you do? I do. I am not trying to be surprised by somebody not believing the report. I'm saying you're doing just what Yahweh got you doing.
No. Expecting it to operate the way it does is, of course, because it's acting in an opposite nature of your own. So you're gonna expect it to not act like you, because it's not you. You don't identify it as you. Now the difference is, when we're talking about each other, we know that each and every man is Yahweh,
right?
And that's why it is shocking for a man to act opposing to himself, because we're not looking at a demon in a man. We're looking at Yahweh in the man, and that's whom we speak to when we speak to other men. Now, those things that creep in unaware, they make themselves known when the gospel is preaching to them by how things come forth. But our hope is in the fact for them to know who they are and to continue professing who they are, you know?
I'm going to put it this way. If I'm looking at someone in a physical body with constant awful behavior, molesting a child, raping, mistreating somebody, yeah, I can say Yahweh created that person. But what I'm saying is a satanic entity. See, because they don't know who they are, because if they did, they wouldn't be acting that way. If they knew they were Yahweh, that they had the Holy Spirit, you think they would be manifesting that negative entity? No, they wouldn't. So when I look at someone like that, and they just tell you all I love doing is evil, I ain't trying to look at Yahweh in that body. I'm seeing a demon. You know, when the man came out the cave, and Yahweh knew who he was, he asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Legion, for we are many." He didn't look at him.
What did the Messiah do, though? The Messiah cast out the demons, and what was left over?
Nothing.
No, the man was still living.
I'm Yahweh in the body.
There was still a man walking around free of demons.
Okay, I'm going to take that at this moment. But my point is that, you know, I know you said that you look at people or men think that's Yahweh in the body. Everybody ain't demonstrating that. You know, if that's the case, I don't think why he said wide is the way and many are going for destruction and narrow is the way. Yes, he did say, "I would that all would be saved," but all ain't gonna be saved. So what is that?
Well, the wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, or narrow is the door that leadeth to righteousness. That's explaining the tabernacle. You go through the gate, and you come to the altar, and you go through the holy place, and that's where we're told to stand. Yeah, we're told to stand in the holy place, and to stand in the holy place is to stand still and know that ye are Yahweh. That's why. But that's why we have the. Yeah, one was 33 feet wide, one was 6 feet. Yeah, but the whole thing is, you 3 feet wide. Sorry, not 6 feet. 3 feet wide.
3 feet wide.
It's funny.
Wide is the way to destruction, right?
Yeah, and narrow is the door that leadeth to righteousness. And you were told to stand in the holy place, which is what you go through that door to reach. And when you stand in that place within you, is to stand in Elohim within you, knowing that ye are Elohim standing within that body. So it stands still and know that you're Yahweh. And when we know this, the only way we can walk with this knowledge and assurity is to see every single man that has pressed the loins of a woman, that is the same, that is Yahweh in a body. Knowing this is what gives us the power to cast out those devils that we see within a body, that because we know that isn't the one operating or controlling that. That's not whose body it is. When you know yourself, you have the power to cast that out of another man. But how do you cast it out? By the gospel, sharing with that man who he is. Because just like you said, if that man knew he was Yahweh, he wouldn't be doing all those things. Well, how can they know lest someone teach them? How can someone teach them lest one be sent? Oh, beautiful are the feet of those who preach the gospel. You see, because that's right.
I'm not advocating that you don't talk. I'm not saying, well, you just look at demons and say, forget it. No, if Yahweh moves for you to go ahead and talk to that person, that he may be free, or she may be free, that's what we're supposed to do. But I still have to take the position that when he talks about principalities, he's talking about demonic entities, structures, and they start in class. Let's not say class is bad. I'm just saying this is what Dennis told me. You're going to find demons in class until the gospel preach it out of them. But nobody coming in there knowing it all or even knowing who the Creator is. It's like
the founder said. It's like the founder said in the transcript we just read, which was, a man can't serve two masters. Right. You know, what a man renders himself unto is the master of whom he serves. And that goes to that power of discernment. You have the power to discern what master a man is serving and what he's given himself over to. Now, we understand that he don't even know Yahweh to give himself to Yahweh in that moment. Now, that's not saying a man doesn't understand what love is and doesn't understand what, being a kind person is, and doesn't look toward those things compared to wanting to hurt people and wanting to manipulate people and things like that. We understand that that's the case, but man, my hope is in the power of the gospel, and you know what I mean? Like that beacon of light. It's like no matter who you talk to, a bum on the street, a druggie, it doesn't matter who you talk to know that Yahweh abides in that one, because here you are abiding in this one. You have to know that for that power of casting them out to be there. You know what I mean? It's like
I agree. But
and we also want to remember, too, we're imbued to know. Every man is imbued to know right from wrong. So, but the thing is you got to accept the chastisement of Yahweh. If you allow those satanic doctrine to overtake you, that's the only way to consume it. I mean, when he talked about Sodom and Gomorrah, Yahweh burned it up. Why? Because Yahweh just appeared down there. And that, because they weren't one whit, they were consumed.
Right.
Because Yahweh is the consuming fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep. That stuff was dead. There is no. Okay, I'm out.
It's one I've struggled with before, Gary. It's like I can't write no one off. If I were to write anybody off because they were being too hard-headed, then I should have been written off when I was young.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I think we all.
And I agree. Again, I'm not obfuscating that we assume some righteousness like, so what? They're demons. They ain't gonna make it. No, your job is Yahweh in you is to dispense that gospel. That's the medicine.
About the only one that really grew up in this gospel has been Shelley. from the time she was a little girl, and they started training us. Most of us came in way down the road. Like some of them are now coming in. What do you say? Even the ones that come in the 11th hour. But But I'm, and people to this day do not accept the fact that there is no sin in this age, but they don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to bring up something to say, oh well, because it's the alcohol that made me do it, it's the this that made me do it, and it's that made me do it. In your head before you do it, something ain't right.
Because Yahweh said there is nothing that a man can take within his body that can corrupt his soul or cause anything, put no hatred or there ain't no drug, there ain't no weed, no herb, nothing out there that Yahweh created that can corrupt your soul. You pervert that from within. Now you can take something to so-called give you the courage to act on all that hatred and all that malice that you have collected or perverted the truth within you. But there is nothing that Yahweh created that could cause that. You pervert that to yourself. Yahweh don't even send you a strong delusion. He lets you believe the lie you created, the delusion you came up with. He'll let you believe that.
Exactly. I give all kudos to Jonathan, and that's what we all desire, to be able to speak to someone. But I give you two examples. The founder's grandson, one of the guys that grew up with us in our class, they have all of these stupid kind of conceptions about what exists in the world and in the universe. And they will tell you, one of them will tell you, and the other one too, that the people are living on Mars or the moon. They're underground, living underground. They got transportation, vehicles. They got everything that's underground. Now remember, this man had heard the founder from birth. And then there's a lady, for example. This lady and I have been friends, I guess, ever since I've been about 20 years old. Not a real running buddy, but I tell you what, if you act like you get ready to offend her or make her angry, out come her ice pick and she'll stab it right in your heart. But when you talk to her about the gospel, she's going to tell you how wonderful church is and all this other stuff, and she's a real believer. And when I preach the gospel to her, she'll revert back where she came from. So I know that Yahweh have shown you, just like Jonathan when he went to 1040 downtown and they want to beat him up. There's no difference. Same thing. They're down there, and that's where it exists within our body. And those people were existing in heaven inside our body, saying that they will not be chastised by the Holy Spirit. They just won't accept what you got to say. They won't defend what you got to say, and they will not hesitate about taking you out.
To me, one who worse than a person out on the street doing some crime or something, one who beholds this doctrine and completely twists it up and corrupts it for others is even worse than that. And everybody in the class could agree, even ones who aren't a part of our group or anything, or who truly know, but know at least you ain't supposed to be worshiping Henry Clifford Kinley, will identify Dr. Harris as being the most wretched of all the infidels who twisted the most doctrine and set the scar against the school that ever walked. And they'll say that. Now, when Yahweh told me to go down to L.A. to give them a message, and I didn't even know what the message was till I stood up in my seat and the words came out the mouth. But I went down there with the heart of wanting to give Dr. Harris a hug and show him and remind him the love that he experienced with the founder, in the hopes that he would change his ways. That's the heart that I was sent down there with. That's what ruled my heart with it. I could have written that man off as being the devil manifested in the flesh right then and there. Like full on being like, that is the devil. walking in a physical body knowing he's the devil. Like I could have had that whole idea with him, but no, I knew that Yahweh abided in that man just the same, and I wanted to, in the hopes of giving that love, remind him of the love so that he could seek the love again. You know? Yeah. Yeah.
Don't stop doing that, Jonathan. Don't stop. But
Yahweh always has some of us, the soft-hearted ones. Look, I already know which one I am. It's like ain't no in between. It's either one way or the other. And you know what? When it was my turn to be meek as a lamb, I was that, and I do know how to be that for Yahweh. But hey, I'm like the old folks used to tell us. They weren't easy on kids when I was coming up. They told you, and they meant what they said and said what they meant. And the founder was the same way. He said what he meant what he said. And I mean, we knew as children not to cross that, you know. So no, I didn't get that petty. Lots of hugs and kisses, and you doing wrong. You know, when my mom whipped you behind, you went on somewhere and sat down. It wasn't no whipping you behind and then, you know, putting you on the lap and saying, "Oh, nah, that was confusing."
Very much so. You just whooped my behind, got whelps on me with that dog foot you made me get. Now you want to hug me?
Right, like they whoop your behind and then give you something to think about. You know the next time not to make that mistake again.
Exactly. And you better not cry too long after they whoop.
Look, I'll tell you in a minute. While they whooping you, shut up. Like, really?
Right.
Every one of my whoopings came with like an hour-long lecture at the end.
Or you're crying and she said, and then what do they tell you when you're crying and something happens? Well, I'll give you something to really cry for.
Right.
When I got whoopings, it was if you put your hands in front of your butt, you get that resets the whooping.
Start over again.
You had to bend over, take it like a man, so to speak, and not move and move a muscle. You could holler, but you better not move a muscle. And when it was done, you better not be sobbing, because why you think you deserve to be crying when you got this? Because you deserved it.
Right.
Yeah. But it definitely came with like an hour.
That's brutality, Jonathan.
So they say you earned that.
Yeah.
You worked hard for that.
Yep. You ain't got no right to cry about that one.
Yep. No, I agree with you, Jonathan. It's Shelley, no. You don't want a hard heart with this gospel to think that, because none of us deserve it, you know. And if it wasn't for Dr. Kennedy having this divine vision revelation, we could have been one standing outside this vision and never even seen it. So I take that with great humility, and even sharing the gospel with someone. I just, how can I say this? I'm just aware that even though I'm talking to Yahweh in the body and I'm sharing the gospel, I'm also prepared to denial come. You know, I don't believe what you're saying, but thanks for telling me. Okay. Then I'm not pressing the issue no more. I can't do that. Because I feel like at that time, they're not denying Gary. They're denying Yahweh in me. So that's it. But I did what I was supposed to do, was to share the gospel. And so they can understand. It
just popped up in my head an example for this whole thing. When Moses went up the first time and knew the facts of Yahweh, he came down and what'd he do? He made them eat gold, right? Made them drink up the gold, the calf, and all that. When he went back up and he saw why everything was the way it was, what'd he do?
Right.
For forgiveness for them. So it's like we walk with the understanding, so we walk in a heart of forgiveness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because we were forgiven. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but then when they kept bucking up against them, those heads, Moses said, Yahweh is going to cause a great thing to happen this day. And he was that great thing because he was the one drew the line and caused that earth to open up and swallowed up those that were disobedient and those that couldn't make up their mind was straddling and closed it back up. So that was a death, a burial, and a resurrection right there. Because then Moses, he had took on and knowing who he was. When he come out of there that first time, he knew who Yahshua was, you know. But when he caused that ground to open up, that was he knew he was all Yahweh, you know.
Right.
And that execution, that was him. He wasn't talking to, as the founder said, I didn't have a vision and a revelation. I'm talking about what I am.
Right.
You know? After a while, he just said, I didn't have a vision and a revelation. I am that, you know?
Exactly. That's true. So his wife Katie will never more be the same. Yeah, Yahweh just killed him off.
Yeah, right. Look, and that goes for all of us.
Yep.
Once you accept it, you ain't never going to be the same. You ain't never going to wake up another day in your life and not know that you're Yahweh.
Yeah.
Right.
Back.
And the responsibility that goes with that.
Back.
True.
Well, Jonathan, I have to tell you, that was outstanding. Because I don't know if I'd be able to make it to the transcripts like that. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was worth reading. I mean, we can listen, and even though as he read, I could still remember and see the founder and hear the voice. You know, both. I could hear Jonathan's voice, and I could hear the founder both in me. You know, that awesome. It's just like listening to him, seeing him right there saying those things. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Just phenomenal. Just like how he would do his expressions. You know, and it reminded me too of when they were at the mountain. The children of Israel, they first heard the voice. Then they saw, you know, like the founder, like we, you know, they got the law. They heard it spoken before they saw Yahweh Elohim, you know, and the founder would say, we had the radio where we could listen, and then the television came, you know. So you'll hear, and then you'll see, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny because that's how it went for me. I heard the voice of Yahweh, and then when I hiked on top of the mountain in a dream, I saw Elohim. That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I first started classes, all you had was they had tapes then. You know, you go home, and it seemed as though when you listened to the tape, you were more still, you know. And now, and then later on, they came out with the videos where you can actually see and relive that moment again. But sometimes I still just like hearing the voice, just listening, you know, because I become more quiet within myself, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny, Gary. When I'd be on that other conference call, my wife would tell you too, man. There's times where she'd be like, "Are you okay?" Like, because I was sobbing my eyes out afterwards. Because
that's funny, Jonathan. Because my wife would tell me the same thing.
See?
Yeah, my wife would tell me the same thing. She said, since you've been on this other conference call, she said you're more relaxed. When you get off, you're not stressed.
Well, it's not. No. It wasn't a stress. It was like my pillows and my wife's shoulder get wet from the sadness of them rejecting Yahweh. It wasn't like.
Talking about.
Yeah, it didn't
that
cause.
Was my stress.
Yeah, I how would I put this? It was.
It's both of our wives seen the same behavior from us after we get off the other call.
And it's like being bullied. It's like I watch TV all the time, and I see these specials, and sometimes they're like everything I watch now is almost like a tear jerker because I see the principle.
Yeah,
right. Laid down, and I mean just at nothing you want to just them fountains of the deep just open up. But it's like it's like being bullied when there's somebody supposed to know but don't know, and then your heart is broken when you have to deal with those that you love that is supposed to know, and it's a difference. But when it's somebody like you wasn't raised in my house, you wasn't raised by Glenn, so I might show you a little mercy, but you ain't gonna bully me, But then when it's his kids, my siblings, it's heartbreaking because I'm gonna have to give you the same chastisement the father gave us, And that's the hurt part because it reminds me of how parents would say, oh, they get ready to give you a spanking, oh, this is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you, and you figuring, really, but because of the fact that you didn't get the lesson or the understanding, now I gotta lower myself to chastise you, and it took me years to understand that, and now dealing with those that Dr. Glenn Kinley taught, it's more hurtful to have to go there with them, but those that were taught pretty much by those other deans, and I know they didn't know, it's like you want to just tell them, hey, sit down and shut up and let me show you. It's a different execution, that you do, but unless you can see that love and that meekness. It's like I remember something I had said that Dr. Harris had wrote in one of those books before I came to Pasadena, and then when I said it, oh man, Dad got on that floor. I was like, no, that is not how that is, and I was like, well, they sold it, they put it out in the book, it was like it wasn't my fault, but I soon let that go, because he put out some pamphlets, or like it was said, what he thought, or correlations that he thought, and I mean, you would buy those, they would sell those at class, and so you pick it up. I mean, I would get them so that, when I'm free time, that's what I did. I did the research because that was the way it was done, when I came in. You had to do the research yourself. After going to class, you just didn't leave class and come back, while you were away. You had to look those things up and diligently search, And in doing that with those pamphlets, I was like, man, well, and I think it was the one where he shows the eyes, the nose, or whatever. You remember that pamphlet? Where it said something about like the Y in your face or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that pamphlet.
Yeah, and Dad got on me about that, and I was like, okay, well, I won't be saying that no more. Matter of fact, but you remember your lesson. So I never forgot that. I knew that was out there, but he didn't, we didn't teach that. He never taught that.
Shelley, can you go over that? Because, I was under that same...
Well, it was a pamphlet that I had gotten from 1040 when I was going there. And
I didn't have that one.
Well, the woman that first taught me showed me the Y's in my hand. Right. But then when I went to the school and I saw that pamphlet with the in your face with your eyes and your nose, and I read that, and then I thought that was true. And when I went to Pasadena and I had said that, that Dr. Glenn Kinley was like, that's not how that goes. And so I just left that alone.
So how does it go? Because I was going around telling people that.
No, because then you were taught, like, you had the Y's in your hand,
right.
You breathed the name, and then in your forehead, in your brain, you had that stick figure of that blood vessel, which is a stick figure of a man, which is Yahweh Elohim appearing, between the wings of the cherubim, like in the altar. That stick figure of that blood vessel, which was the stick figure of a man, that is what dictated or produced your whole body.
Arterial circle of Willis.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. It's called the circle of Willis. And so if, like, say they cut your leg off, if the doctors knew how to put loaves in there to go and tap, it could cause your body to produce a whole new leg, because in that it produced the first one.
So none of that should have been said. What did Glenn say? I want to know the right.
Well, you had that, two eyes that see as one, and that you breathe your nostrils. That's a oneness. All that, and the ears, one ear don't hear something else, and the other hear something else. Is that head region is the Father, the Word, the Holy Spirit. That's one, So after that, I understood all that. I left that other I and no thing alone.
Right.
Now, trying to say that was the why, because that was not what Yahweh. So
I'm gonna leave. So I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't teach that. So, but I remember that was one of my first lessons or chastisement when being in Pasadena. I never forgot that, though.
Yeah. I consider this my chastisement for using that too. I used it.
Look, and I was at that time. I probably was only about 17 or 18. I think I might have been 18 then. But but I hadn't. And see, after the founder passed, they didn't really teach down at 1040 anymore. I mean, they would go through the charts, but most of the time, all you'd hear them saying was blood, water, spirit, 40, blood, water, spirit, 40. I mean, what can you get out of that but that chanting? I didn't see the blood, the 40, like how when Dr. Glenn Kinley would teach it and break it down and show you, even in that how the life is in the blood. See, they never said. I had never heard those other teachers say anything like that. How that the life was in the blood, and so when you go back to the cloud, that life, that Yahweh Elohim taking on that shape and form. That was the will, the life, all of that animated, then. So you have in your body the blood, which is likened on the like water and spirit and all that flowing through you, and so the blood, and then like your body is you have your water, your kidneys, and going through that tabernacle pattern. But he would always go back and show, like in that Adam plate, and with Noah, like the water, and them being you standing in the earth and the flame you're standing on the altar. What I'm saying, you got earth, and it's got a firmament in the midst, and then you're walking on it. That makes you that sacrifice, walking on the earth. So I mean, they had a more powerful meaning than somebody just getting up yelling blood, water, spirit, 40. But they stopped there. They didn't go death, burial, resurrection, ascension, and an outpouring. That's where you're supposed to end with. That was like that Pentecost. that man, that becoming that oneness with Yahweh. You know, yeah, he died on the cross, you know, the death, the burial, the resurrection, and then the ascension, and then the outpouring. You know, have him having and going back and pouring. Yahshua had to go back. That's why he said, "Touch me not," you know, for I have not yet ascended. Why? Because that was the same thing Adam said with the woman, you know, after she had eaten the fruit. Touch me not. Why? Because I ain't descended. He was still in that elevated state. So that was how you see the degenerator and the regenerator working together, you know. So,
all right. Okay.
You know, yeah. Look. I stayed in that Adam plate mostly. I didn't divert. I wasn't so diverse in all the other ones. But if I hear somebody teach it, I'll know if you got it right.
Right. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a type in the shadow teacher. I mostly stayed right there with that Adam and Eve and in the cloud. You know, now if you said something down here, I want you to be able to show it to me up here. You know,
right.
And more than likely I could find it. I knew, you know,
right.
if you said it like that. But no.
I think that's why they had that. Remember, they had when everybody would get up and teach, they gave them that plastic thing to tell you that when you came down with the blood, water, spirit 40, that you came down, but you also had to go back up and show it in a 3-4 pattern. You know, the ascension, the death, burial, and resurrection, and the ascension. You know, so
yeah, that pattern
that
we had where you could slide it over the chart, but a lot of times you could slide it over, but Dad was a master at it. He knew how to slide it up. You know, and that's what a lot of you, because you could see. On that pattern where it showed the Ark of the Covenant, the holy place, the most holy place, and the court, the outer court, or the sacrifice. Well, he could slide it right up there where Adam and Eve is, and show you that where the sacrifice was. Adam, you know, he died for his bride. You know, and then slide it back down to show you how it was the holy place. You know, that was that heavenly state. So, and that's how it works. He said, just never lay it down.
Never lay it down.
But you can slide it up and over, you know, but never lay it down. Well, I think we've had a great class today.
Had a phenomenal class.
Awesome to hear the words of the founder and reminisce. But does anybody have anything else to say?
Nope.
Okay,
Gospel's
been preached. Hallelujah. Who is able to keep you from falling, to present you faultless before the presence of his glory, with exceeding delight, to the only wise Elohim, our Savior, Yahshua the Messiah, our Sovereign, belong glory and majesty, dominion and power, both now and forever. Let us all say, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
As the founder said, we're all Yahweh.
Yeah, we are.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are.
Love you.
All right, you guys.
Love y'all.
Thanks for showing up.
Love y'all too.
All right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you guys too.